Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you guys had an awesome day out there today. Definitely saw some better ops out there myself. A lot better action out there. We're going to break it down trade by trade, exactly what I did today, what you could have done today, and really how you can do it going into the next few days. But today was good. Today was not too bad. This week's been pretty odd so far. A lot of chop, a lot of slowness, a lot of weirdness out of market open, a lot of fades out of market open. And there's a lot that I want to talk about here today because we saw a lot better action today out there in the market. And so there's a lot of sort of breakdown here. Now, started the day on a good note. Of course, came in with a pre-market watch list as always. Main focus was on SPRC and CPOP and traded those fairly well. And we'll start at number one. Started with CPOP this morning. This thing was very fruitful. I was kind of surprised, honestly. And I was able to really get zoned in on this. And I wish I got more aggressive. I wish I had more size. But it's one of those things where you got to realize what market we're in. It's been very choppy this week so far, Monday through yesterday, all fairly choppy. And I've been green, but action has not quite been up to par with what I want it to be. So I came in today expecting another slow day. Thankfully, that was not really the case. It was still a little bit slower. I wasn't really able to get my day to where I wanted to be, to a big green day, but I was able to at least walk away with some profit again today. So today we came into market open, and CPOP was one of the leading gappers this morning, and I was watching it, of course, because this was a leading gapper, and so who's not watching it? It's one of the obvious stocks of the morning, and so I had my eyes on it. And this morning, you really didn't have any massive gappers in pre-market, which was a good thing for me because I knew the last few days we've been seeing these pre-market gappers fade heavy after market open, and so without any massive gappers, I would expect more continuation and more opportunities after market open, which was the case today, thankfully. And so CPOP gapped in pre-market. It made it move all the way to 190, gave it all back down into the low 50s. And all right, is it giving back most of its move? Do we get to play it again? I don't know. And so knowing how CPOP typically trades, I was a little bit apprehensive going into the open with this. Thankfully, it ended up setting up in a nice way where we actually have this double top form off the high here. And at first, I'm thinking, well, is it done? Does it make a move back higher up through this with a bit of a cup and handle breakout? And it actually does make that move higher. And so it pulls back. I find a buyer off of VWAP. I step in for a nice dip and rip. I take it off the pullback, sell up into strength, take it off the pullback again, sell it up into strength. And this time I actually get the move I'm looking for. And so I get a move here, as you can see, from 175 all the way back to the previous high at 187. Now, I took a full profit underneath this high because, again, we've double topped off this high already. I did take a re-entry on the breakout here, and so I saw it break up higher on significant volume. You can see biggest volume candle of the day was to break that pre-market high. And so try to ride the momentum here, and I took it back at 197, risking off of I took it at 197, risking off 189 off the previous high. And I got a little move here, as you can see, from 197 up to 199, and I ended up taking a full profit because it was a little bit top heavy off this high. Well, then this next candle pulls back and starts to get bought back up. We put in place a bit of a range here. I'm looking for this to get curling back up through the highs. So didn't happen. A little bit extended away from VWAP, I suppose, and nonetheless, it didn't follow through higher like I was really wanting to do. So took a little loss here, gave a small amount back, and then we saw it put in place this range again, where, check this out, we have this higher low, and then it again pulls back off this previous low, and again, we form a buyer here. And I hate myself for this because I really wanted to take this entry here. After we found a buyer off this low, I would have loved to take it right there, risking off the low, and you had a massive move here back to the highs from 180 back to 2. I would have loved that trade, but can't catch them all. So I missed it there where I would have really liked this, unfortunately. I made a move to the highs, but then I understand it's pulling back off this previous high. Let's take a little dip and rip, and again, we can see this area of supply becomes an area of demand. I'm able to take two nice pullbacks through here. Dip and rip, take it off the pullback, sell it up into the highs, 190 back to 195, and then again from 188 back up into the 190s. And you can see after we again rejected here, we tried to retest the highs. We rejected once more. I took the full profit at entry, and overall was done with CPOP there. So overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins and one little loss on it. But CPOP was nice today. After that, moved on over to SPRC and got stuck in a dang halt, man. And I'll tell you, the interesting thing about this is it was nice. It was pretty nice. You can see the opening range here formed out of the bell. We broke to the upside out of this opening range. I took it here risking off this previous low for the breakup higher. And we got that move. I actually got a significant move here. As soon as I took the entry, it halted, though. Literally, as soon as I took my entry, this thing halted up. And so got stuck up into a halt there, which I wasn't mad about because, wow, what a move. And so this thing resumes. It comes back to retest the level here underneath the entry at 630, then just gets going. Now, once it starts to pull away over the halt price, I'm just trailing 1 minute candle lows. And so as this thing moves higher, again, stop loss raise until eventually out with my profit with a really nice trade here. So overall, 650 to 750 on the play. Again, just trailing stops on the way up. Now, what happens here is very similar to CPOP, where it forms these higher lows, pulls back, again, super tight here for the move back higher. But here's what I missed here, and this is the one red flag that I guess I've got to consider whenever I'm taking pullback entries like this. And there's actually 2 losses that I took today that could have been prevented if I noticed this. And I guess I was just not quite as picky as I needed to be, because I was sort of looking for more opportunities to try and take my day up to that next big spot, because today was the best opportunities, the best action we've seen all week. So I've got these higher lows formed here. I'm looking for the pullbacks to get that crank back higher. And the big thing that I missed that I've got to really consider going into the rest of the week is how tight this range was. Now, if the range looked a little bit different and trendline resistance, say, looks like this, it would make a lot more sense. But being that this wedge was so tight, we had no room to the upside until it actually broke out. This was just a bad entry, right? So gave a little bit back there, unfortunately, but again, something to take note of as we go into the rest of the week to, again, prevent that from happening again. It was the only loss I had on SPRC today. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. So again, something to take note of. Now, again, this thing starts to curl. You can see it gives back most of its move here underneath the moving averages, but then it reclaims moving averages here. And I'm a little bit of a sissy here today because, again, action this week so far has been so crap. Take a lot of little base hit moves here, base hit move. But then we finally set up in a good way. You can see volume was kind of light through here. We finally got setting up in a good way over the highs. And we put in place, again, higher low. So we have a nice range to trade. Let's make this cleaner so that you can see it. And then again, we have this range off the high, which gives us a perfect range to try to trade here. And so, again, sort of similar to CPOP. I wish I had taken this a little bit lower. I could have been positioned a lot better here, but nonetheless, still played it well. Played it here. As you can see, I was in a little bit high, so I didn't really trust my entry too much. But 794 to about 805 or 10-cent play. Could have probably let this ride. But again, my entry here I wasn't in love with, so I went ahead and just took my profit and walked away. Finally got positioned in a little bit of a better way here on the next entry. And you can see, again, we have this defined risk range sort of formed here off the lows. I'm able to take it here at 797. Risking off of this past low for the range back up higher. And I actually got to move back up into the previous highs like I was looking for with these lower highs. Perfect move here. I should have really taken full profit here, but I just had runners left. I was looking for the squeeze up through 9 with runners, and so didn't get it. We sold the rest down in entry. But nice little win here as well. As you can see, if you look at this from 799 back to about 830, and again, traded it fairly well. Now, back to the problem that I talked about with SPRC, the same thing happened in NUAI. Now, this thing was coiling tight, and if we ignore upper trend line resistance, we can see how tight this is getting coiled off moving averages. And again, check this out. We have higher low, and I'm like, oh, this thing's getting pretty tight here, looking like it wants to break to the upside. Look at the 5-minute here, too. This thing was so tight. This thing was unbelievably tight. I was looking to see if it would break up higher. And, well, I learned my lesson on this one here, too. And so, again, the one thing that I messed up with this morning, it was just that it's not taking a note of how tight these ranges are. Not taking trades like this unless we actually break out, because, again, we have no room here. What is my range? That's completely different if you versus take it here. Because, again, at least here we have range to the upside. Here we don't. So literally my 2 losses this morning were entirely preventable had I just taken a note of that there. It is what it is. Again, this is why we journal. This is why I review my trades every day, because, again, there's things that we can always do to improve. ATCH was a little bit choppy. I took some base hits here, and that was pretty much it. It was a bit of a one-and-done type move. Very small little moves, but took home some pennies from that, lunch money from that. And overall, just not really a fun stock to trade, to be honest with you. It's kind of a weird one. But in any case, that's really the recap of the morning, though. So not really too bad of a day. I wish we had a little bit better opportunity, but it is definitely improving. It's definitely a lot cleaner, more predictable, a lot better. So I'm liking what I saw today, but that is the recap of the morning. So if you learned something from this video, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this. And, of course, make sure to claim access to your 7-day free trial down in the description below. That way you can actually watch me trade these things in real time, get my alerts, education, watch list, chat room access, and everything else, while the market is getting hot again. Now, that being said, I will see you guys there tomorrow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow as well for, hopefully, an awesome trading day ahead.